Pause buffering in Sonic Omens is a very important tech used throughout the any % unrestricted speedrun. It helps you clear large areas or even entire levels throughout the run. This tech involves being on a slope and boosting forward, and then pressing the opposite direction of what you're facing, and then pausing right afterwards in quick succession. If you're confused by that, here's a slowed down example with the input display. This also works with any direction as long as it's facing away from you. The amount of distance or height you get from a pause buffer relies on the slope and the amount of time you stay paused for. Today I will explain and show you how to do most of the useful pause buffers used in the any % unrestricted run, excluding the first United Railroad pause buffer. We'll start with the easiest one, first being White Jungle. White Jungle's pause buffer is the easiest in the run and requires a pause time of 5 to 6 seconds. As you can see with the input display, you boost without holding any direction, and then hold using the opposite direction, and then pause in quick succession. If done right, you should go right over the wall and you can stomp straight to the goal ring from here. The next pause buffer is actually the first one in the run, being Area 99. Area 99 has 2 pause buffers in total and makes the level very fast. Starting off with the first pause buffer, you begin the level and go the specific rock over to the left and position yourself on the very edge of the rock. The inputs for this pause buffer must be done in very quick succession or you will fall off the rock and it won't work. Although they have to be quick, do not press them on the same frame or it won't go through. This pause buffer requires a pause time of 3 to 4 seconds. After you pause, you want to boost as soon as you either touch the ceiling or are high enough to go over the invisible wall. While still in the air, you want to go towards the second pause buffer located on this part of the sand. The inputs do not have to be as quick as the first one, and it's actually easier to perform. Just do the inputs as normal on the slope of the sand and wait 4 to 5 seconds, bringing you to the top of the underground section, and you can reach the goal ring from there. The third pause buffer I'll be explaining is the Tree Palace pause buffer. This one is a bit weird because of all the obstacles and collision on the way up. At the beginning of the level, skip the cutscene and boost to this part of the log over to the right. You want to stand right here on the edge of the texture and do the inputs. The inputs are not precise and have a lot of leniency. This pause buffer needs a pause time of 4 seconds. After unpausing, spam W and D or up right until you start to go in the direction, and then hold the position until you dodge all the obstacles and make it to the blue wall run to the end of the level. This next pause buffer is at the beginning of Moldy Jungle, and like White Jungle and Tree Palace, it skips the entire level. At the start of the level, you want to go to the right of the path and position yourself like this next to the purple foliage. The inputs do have to be sort of quick, but it's still kind of lenient. Pause time for this one is around 15 to 17 seconds. When you unpause, you want to head towards the direction of this specific tree, as the path you're landing on is somewhere to the left of it. Sometimes you end up with too much height, so you will have to judge and use your double jump where you think it's appropriate. As you get really close, the platform you want to land on will eventually go into view. Once you land on it, you can just take the vines to the end of the level. And now, it's time for the 2 pause buffers I'm not looking forward to explaining. The final 2 and hardest pause buffers are very conveniently in the Citadel of Lotus, which is the last level in the 80% run. I'm going to be completely honest when I say these pause buffers do suck, and it's even worse trying to learn them. Starting off with the first one and easier one, I will say its difficulty comes from getting to the pause buffer spot. At the start of the level, you want to get the first boost capsule and then stop boosting right before you collect the second one to preserve boost. At the end of the automated running section, you want to stomp and then position yourself around this area and bounce bracelet here a bunch of times for height and start boosting around the freefall section. Do not get too close to the freefall section or it will trigger the section, making you lose height. Somewhere around here, you want to use your double jump and boost immediately after. Once your boost meter reaches around here, stop boosting and try to land on this platform out of bounds. Go to the tip of this platform and hold Y to position yourself like this with the camera. The inputs do have to be very quick or else you'll boost into the wall and it won't work. This pause buffer takes no more than 10 seconds of pause time. Once unpausing, try to go forward as you launch towards the pillar with the free fall section. You should be high enough to go around the front of it and stomp towards the checkpoint, causing to skip a good chunk of the level. If you thought that was complicated, don't worry, it gets worse. I'll try to explain the second one as best as possible. This second pause buffer is the hardest one in the run and it's also the last. First things first, after hitting the checkpoint after the pause buffer, pause the game and respawn. Get the 2 boost capsules on the path and continue boosting until you hit the boost ramps. When you hit the boost ramps, turn your camera around and quickly boost and jump to get on top of the doorway. You want to position Sonic on top of this blue line specifically. When you do the inputs, you must do them quickly but not too quickly. Only quick enough so that Sonic is either touching this line or if he's slightly below the line. If you do it too quickly, you won't end up getting enough height with this setup. Pause for 5.5 seconds to 6 seconds. Do not pause more than 6 seconds. This is very important for getting a consistent height. The hardest part of this pause buffer is dodging the kill trigger below the hole in the collision we need to go through to beat the level. After unpausing, boost up left for a short amount of time and then try to go towards the hole without touching the kill trigger. If you just go straight to the hole, you will touch the kill trigger and die. You will end up with some sort of varying height, so you will need to react accordingly with the height you get each attempt. Anyway, after avoiding the kill trigger, go into the hole and run to the goal ring. This pause buffer is difficult and does take time to get the hang of, especially with its inconsistencies. This is just a setup I was able to make up and it works the best for me. It may not work for you. With that being said, thank you for watching my tutorial on pause buffering. I hope this helps some of you. Happy speedrunning.